Hi, my name is Tim Holman. I'm a Young Life leader in Northeast Phoenix, Scottsdale area at Horizon High School. Uh, Joey and I have been friends for a long time, and he knows I'm an old guy, been in Young Life a long time. I've been a leader at Horizon here as a volunteer for 15 years, and he asked me to share a little bit about Young Life leading for a long time. So anyway, he's given me a few questions here that I'll answer. Your first question might be, is that a naked shaved horse behind me? Well, actually no. You know, as a Young Life leader in your office, you just keep a centaur body in the background. So that's just totally normal over here in my office. The first question from Joey here is, how and why did I get involved with Young Life? Well, I got involved in Young Life as a high school student at Horizon when some of my friends went to Young Life. My assistant baseball coach at Horizon was a Young Life leader, and there were some pretty girls at Young Life, and so I wanted to be there. After my senior year, I should say after my junior year, I went to Woodleaf, where I gave my life to the Lord and came back, and it had a great impact on me during my senior year at Horizon. Then toward the end of my freshman year of college, John Irwin, who was our area director then, now is the regional director, he called me up out of the blue. I didn't really know him, and said that Young Life at Horizon had died. The leaders had all gone off, and the club needed to be restarted, and asked me to be involved. And so that's how I got into leading. The next question is, what are some mistakes and lessons you've learned when you first started leading? Well, there were a lot of them, of course. I learned that being funny and cool isn't necessarily what's needed to build relationships and share Christ with kids. I really thought that that's what I wanted to do, was be funny and be cool. And I achieved that, and I think it left me feeling like, why am I doing Young Life? Because that sort of feeling of fulfillment from being funny and cool only lasts so long. And so I was missing out on the relationships. So that was definitely a mistake. As a young leader, I think it was my second year, so I was probably 19 or 20. The senior leader left the team, and nobody else wanted to do it. So I was asked to be senior leader by John, and took that over. And one of the many mistakes I learned then was trying to be too controlling for all of our other leaders, for our club, which was really a tiny club, like 10, 20 kids were coming. And so, through the years, I've learned to try to have more grace for our leaders in their situations and come alongside them and encourage them. When you're working with a team of volunteers, you don't really need one person that's overly controlling for anybody else. And so that was certainly one of them. Another big one would be just missing out on contact work. It goes back to the relational part of the ministry. There were many times where I would go and just sort of be a Monday night leader, and that's just not very helpful to the team or to the cause of the ministry. The next question: did you think you'd be involved for the long term? Why or why not? Well, I guess back then I didn't really think I would be. I thought it would be something that sort of I did through college, but the Lord got a hold of me, showed me that Young Life's model for ministry was something that really worked. I had the blessing of seeing many lives change, many kids meet Christ and see their lives, take a turn for the right direction. And so initially I didn't think so, but within a few years before I got out of college, even I realized that this would be something that the Lord had for me for a long time. And really, I still take the same approach of, if I feel like the Holy Spirit is leading me to stay involved, I will. I get less cool and less hip and funny and good looking every year, so there has to be something else that keeps me involved. Next question is, what is your favorite part of leading in Young Life? Well, early on it would have been those things I mentioned, like being in skits and being up front and being funny and getting attention. But over time, really it didn't take much time to learn that the bigger impact and the bigger things that I would love about Young Life would be seeing lives changed. Not only for so many students that would see their lives change when they give their life to Christ, but also for many leaders through the years to be involved in their lives, to grow with them in our faith, to build relationships not only with high school students but leaders who become friends, for a lifetime. Those are all things that I love about being involved in Young Life. What are the most challenging parts of leading in Young Life? Well, there's a number of them, but I think like any good ministry for Christ, one challenge is you're giving your life away. You're choosing to do that over many other selfish things that might seem like more fun. A difficult thing is time management, especially as you go on. That's a question later on that I'll answer more, but splitting your time, maybe for you now it might be between school and work in Young Life, and as you go on later it might be between work and family, a spouse, your own kids in Young Life, or a more difficult, time-consuming job. So those are challenges. Another challenge, of course, is rejection. Part of being a good Young Life leader is going after high school kids who don't want to be chased after, and part of it is rejection. That's challenging. Walking onto a high school campus when you don't go to high school anymore can sometimes be challenging, or dealing with the administration if they don't want you there can be challenging, but it's all worth it in the end. As we go along through life here on earth, it's totally worth it, and I think we'll even see more of that as we get to heaven. Why have I stayed involved for so long is the next question. I talked about that, I think, a little bit, in just that I feel like the Lord has me in this place right now. I remember going to a leadership weekend many years ago, and a guy named Isaac was there, and he talked about being a clavo, which I think is Spanish for nail, like a nail in a board. And what does that nail do? Well, it just stays there. It just does its job, holding that board in place and staying there for the long term. And he talked about being a Young Life leader like that, and that really struck me. I think the Lord really had something in that for me about being in one place, helping to build up a club and a team of leaders, and building up young high school students and campaigner kids who then might become leaders at our club or around the globe. Being a part of the community, knowing parents, seeing younger brothers and sisters coming through club, years down the road, and them saying, "Hey, my older brother or sibling went to Horizon Young Life." So those are some of the reasons I've stayed in so long. What tips would I give someone who was interested in staying in for a long time? Well, I think the number one thing would be stay connected to Christ. You can do ministry under your own power for a pretty long time, and you might even have what the world sees as productive ministry, but you will burn out if you're not connected to Christ. So I struggle with that. I go through periods of time where I can be so focused on leading and doing the work that I forget the relationship with the guy I'm doing the work for. So you need to stay connected to Christ and get poured back into as you're emptying yourself out in ministry. So you might get poured back into through your church, a small group, a good, strong Christian community of friends. I would definitely recommend a mentor as well that you can share life with and get some wisdom from somebody older. So what recommendations would you give a first or second year leader? Well, all those things I just mentioned I think apply. Being connected to Christ, being involved in those things like church and a community and a mentor are really key. And then get involved in relationships for sure. Don't worry about being cool up front, but be in relationships. Last question: as I've gotten older and life has changed with work and family, etc., how's that impacted my leading? Well, it definitely has. As I alluded to, it's more difficult to share time in Young Life leading, because that means I'm giving up time away from my job, which pays the bills, or my wife, or my children. So I have 4 kids now. They're young. They're 9, 7, 4, and 16 months. So it's a challenge to give up time away from them. But on the other side, there's great blessing. My family loves our involvement in Young Life. Club is at our house. My kids love coming to club and being a part of that and hanging out with their older high school friends. So that's a great blessing. Being in Young Life for a long time creates really neat opportunities to share my faith with people that aren't high school kids, like my family who might not understand Young Life or the gospel, or people in my work. And so those are some really neat opportunities. So anyway, thanks for the time. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. I'm actually leading a small group of 20-something-year-old people right now as we speak, as you're watching this. So that's why I couldn't be there in person. But I wish you the best, and I hope that you'll stay connected to Christ and give some strong thought to leading in young life, not only right now, but also for the long term. You'll be blessed for it. Thanks.